Hey there, Smite fans, and welcome back to another prediction video. This one you will not find in client of Smite, but you will be able to find it at twitch.tv/AVGL for the games that are streamed, and any that might not be streamed you might be able to spectate in on. But this will be covering the AVGL matches of the week. This will be the 8 matches that I think are going to be the most interesting, and who exactly I think is going to be able to come out on top of those matches. The first one that we will be looking at is going to be Southern Illinois University Carbondale versus Ohio State University. Both of these teams doing relatively well right now. Ohio State University we actually saw on stream this past Saturday, and they are looking like a top-notch team. Being led by Shaka and the rest of his crew, all playing very, very well, and playing Ghost Ninja, Sidewinder, and Precap. Ohio State looking very, very strong. That being said, Southern Illinois over on the other side has been looking just as strong. They've only dropped one set so far, but they've been able to come out on top of 2 of them, and they've been able to play extraordinarily well. That being said, against this roster for Ohio State, I think they'll put up a good fight, and I think actually in the first 10 minutes of each game, it'll probably stay relatively close, but Shaka knows how to lead a crew, and Shaka knows how to lead this game, and I expect to see Ohio State come out of this one with the win. And our next matchup will be Stony Brook University versus Lawrence Technological University. A lot of the names on Stony Brook University you will probably recognize. More Brooklyn, Yumta, Sir Bomberman, Sam for Soccer 2, Giggle, and Mando Warrior, all names that have competed in AVGL before. And while on the other side, Lawrence Technological University, while they might not have as many familiar names, they are still playing very well this season. But right now, Stony Brook is looking like one of the top contenders, if not one of the top 4 overall in AVGL right now. And while I think that Lawrence Technological University is going to be able to put up a fight, ultimately Stony Brook University should be able to come out of this one with the win. The next matchup also has some familiar names in it. DePaul University versus Salisbury University. And Salisbury, when you look down the roster, you've got Collateral, Fatal, Blaziken, Dean Cole, Dansland, a lot of names that have not only competed in AVGL, but have been big names in the Challenger area for Smite. Whereas on the other side, we actually have DePaul, who we have seen be successful on stream this split. The Paradox, one of the top players really coming out of the jungle for this team, carrying his team to victory the last time we saw them, and I expect to see something kind of similar here. That being said, the victory is going to be the one that comes up to, more than likely, Salisbury University, whereas DePaul, they're strong, they've got a good roster, but they can't all put it on the back of Paradox. Some of the others will have to step up, and I just don't see that happening against who they have to go up against. Fatal and Collateral is a duo lane that you have to reckon with. Dean Cole, of course, in that solo lane, going to be very, very strong, and everyone really on Salisbury University just has an experience lead over DePaul, and ultimately they should be able to take this win. Now, if I had to make a match of the week, it would probably be this one, and it's for a reason that is a little odd. So one of my friends is actually on Sonny's Buffalo here on the left-hand side. One of my friends plays with them, and they are actually a free agent team, but they are currently 3-0, which is just 1 win ahead of where St. Joseph's University is right now. Now, St. Joseph's University is a highlighted team just because they have a ton of names that people would recognize. Again, Zetasphere, Exterminator, Mojocat, Typical Java, Booty Call, Jones. I mean, it's a big roster of members who have played in AVGL and who have done well in the Challenger area. Whereas on the other side, I mean, it's a bunch of names that you probably wouldn't recognize really if I told you any of their names. But the team has been playing well, and the team has been able to perform well in their matches. So this one, I'm going to give it as a match of the week. Of course, ultimately, even though I think Sonny's Buffalo has been playing well, I think this is going to be their first loss. I think that St. Joseph's University right now is a little bit more stacked overall just in terms of player, and I think that they should be able to take this one as an easy win. And the next matchup we're going to have is going to be Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University versus North Carolina State University White. That is very important because there are 2 North Carolina State University teams, but both of these teams have members that have so far stood out to me when watching on stream or just in general play. And honestly, right now, I mean, North Carolina State University White is the one that's coming in with the better win-loss all across the board. They're 3-1 right now. They've played a little bit stronger, but at the same time, some of those have been against some of the weaker teams in their division. Whereas on the other side, I feel like Virginia Polytechnic, they haven't necessarily had as much of an easy time. They haven't really had more of a rough time, but they are sitting at 2-1, so it's really just the difference of 1 set. And I honestly think this is where Virginia Polytechnic is going to be able to find that 3. They're going to be able to find the win in this set, bringing themselves to 3-1, knocking North Carolina State down to 3-2. The next matchup we'll have is Georgia Tech Yellow, again Yellow being very important here because there's another Georgia Tech team, versus the other North Carolina State University team, North Carolina State University Red, and this is very much the same kind of as the last game. These teams are relatively close. They aren't necessarily contending for the tops of their division quite yet. They are fighting towards the top. In fact, Georgia Tech Yellow is one of the 2 top teams in their division, right there tied with Tarrant County College. And because of where they stand, I mean, right now, North Carolina State University Red, they've been fighting well, but again, some of those wins they have knocked up and have been able to come forward with have been against teams that just weren't really able to fight the way that I expect to see Georgia Tech Yellow put it up. This team is a little bit stronger. I think Georgia Tech Yellow should be able to take the W here and come out with a big win. Now, this next one is going to be University of Tennessee Orange versus Georgia Tech White. Now, while Georgia Tech White is sitting up at the top of their division right now, tied for 3-0 with University of Tennessee Orange and UC Riverside, I feel like once it comes down, this is going to be a much harder matchup for them. So there are some members on Georgia Tech White and on University of Tennessee Orange that everyone would really recognize. Maker of Rice, TNT Turtles, and, of course, you know, on the other side, Walp, Pepe Smite, Rom. A lot of members that have played before have done really well, but right now, when I'm looking at these 2 teams going up against each other, this is going to be another match that you do not want to miss this week. But I'm going to call this one overall as a win for University of Tennessee Orange. I think that team is just going to be a little bit stronger. They've played a little bit more close-knit as a team overall. Whereas Georgia Tech White, they still have some work to do. They still have to go forward with it. They might be contending for the top 2, but right now, they're going to be losing 4 to University of Tennessee Orange. And the last matchup that we are going to be looking up this week is University of Advancing Technology versus California State University Los Angeles. And this is another case where both of these teams are doing very well in their division. Right now, we have Los Angeles on this right-hand side doing a 3-0, whereas University of Advancing Technology right now is 2-0. Neither team has gotten a loss, and of course, when you look at the names, again, there's some more that kind of stand out to me personally, and really when it comes down to it, I feel like California State University Los Angeles overall has the stronger team play. There are some strong members on University of Advancing Technology, and honestly, if those strong members can get ahead, they could take it, but ultimately, I think the team play coming out from Los Angeles on this right-hand side should be able to take it and ultimately find themselves the last win of the week. And that was it. This was just a quick little prediction video for this week's matches of AVGL, the ones that I think are going to stand out the most, the ones that I think are going to be a lot more interesting to watch and to pay attention to. So make sure to keep your eye out. Some of these are bound to be on stream because these are some of the top contenders right now in the league. Stay tuned for that. Be able to keep your eyes open. That one will be dropping, as well as some other prediction videos this week for ones that are more FP oriented, for things that are inside of the client. And as it stands, I mean, thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you again in the next prediction video.